Hi, this is Kelly with the Quilted Windmill. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really fun Christmas stocking. And this pattern has been around for a while, so it's really nothing new, but I just wanted to reintroduce it because it is such a fun project and has a lot of potential really beyond just traditional Christmas stockings. So this is the stocking that we're going to be making. It takes 34 of the 2.5-inch squares. So if you get a packet of 40, you'll have a few leftovers, but that'll give you some color options. So to get started, you want to sew them together. You're going to sew them together in rows of 4 and 7 rows long, like I've done here. And then for your toe, you need to sew together 6 of them like this, 2 across, 3 long. And once you get that done, you're going to sew the toe onto the main body here at a 1/4 inch seam. So once you've sewed that, you're going to have a square stocking like this. I've got one here that I've already cut the curves of the toes on, and you can do that by using a bowl or even just using your scissors and eyeballing it will work in rounding those corners. And you're just going to do something like this. Like that. So when you've finished that part, the next step is going to be to do your quilting. And I have selected to just use muslin for the inside of the stocking. And I just used a fat quarter rather of muslin, and I'm going to get a backing for my top and a backing for the back when I get to that out of this piece of muslin. Here's my backing for the stocking, and I'm going to cut that right now so that I can get it quilted. And I'm just going to use my finished stocking top as a pattern here. So once you have your backing to your stocking cut, you've got the front and the back identical sizes. I'm going to lay those on my muslin so that I can just rough cut around them and get a backing, a lining rather, for my pieces. So you can pretty much squeeze that out of a fat quarter if you lay them like I have. I'm just going to rough cut, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to layer them with some batting and do some quilting so that I have a quilted front and a quilted back. I've just got a very thin 100% poly or 100% cotton batting here. You don't need anything real lofty, just thin and just enough to give you a little filler. So I'm going to layer it like this, and you can use a little spray adhesive or just pin it, and then you go quilt it on your home quilting machine. If you can see the examples I have here, I just cross-hatched them, and I think that's what I'll be doing, is I'll just cross-hatch them. You could certainly quilt a 1/4 inch in of the seam, or really any design that you choose, some stippling or another design. But I think I'll just cross-hatch them because I like that look. Okay, I'm just quilting the stocking front, and as I said, I've chosen to use a crosshatch pattern, which allows me to just follow the piecing and really not have to do any marking ahead of time, which I really like that. I am using my walking foot because it goes a lot smoother and works through the layers nicer with your walking foot, so I would highly recommend that. Well, I finished quilting my stocking front and backs, and I chose to just do some straight line stitching on the back. I was able to just use the pattern printed on the fabric as a guide so that I didn't have to mark it. I love that when you do that. But you could mark it if you need to. I also just did cross hatching on the front of the stocking, and I used my piecing as a guide, so I again didn't have to mark it. Now I have the front and back quilted, and I'm going to just cut around them And when I get finished with this, I'm going to sew them together, right sides together. And I'm going to just do a zigzag or overlocking stitch to finish that seam. And then turn the stocking right side out. And I will be showing you how to put on the cuff. Okay, so I've got my stocking put together. I went ahead and sewed around the outside and did an overlocking stitch so it's nice and finished. I'm going to turn it right side out. Okay. As I was making this, I was thinking, what if you made it a row longer and a row wider for those kids that have a little extra loot and need a bigger one? You could certainly do that. Okay, so I've got it turned around, right side out. And you just need to do a little pushing out of the seam so that it lays good, and then you could probably iron it to help it stay a little better. Okay, now it's time to make our cuff. And to make the cuff, you need to measure your stocking top, and it's measuring 8 inches exactly. So it's going to go all the way around, so I want a strip that is 9 inches wide by 16 and a half. You're going to add that ½ inch for seam allowance. So 9 by 16 and a half when I have an 8-inch top. And I'm going to go ahead and sew the short ends of that cuff together. I'll be sewing down this way, and then I'm going to attach it to the top of our stocking. Okay, so I have my cuff made with the 9 by 16 and a half inch strip. And what I did was just sewed it together, and which made a tube, and I folded it in half. We've got the raw edges here on the top, and this is the folded edge. You're just going to stick it inside your stocking, and you're just going to take the raw edges, line up the raw edges together like this, and then you would just sew around the top of the stocking at 1/4 inch and do an overcast stitch on your raw edge, and then you'll be able to turn that cuff onto the outside, which I'll show you on this finished one. You turn the cuff to the outside. It makes a super cute cuff. And then we're just going to make a little tab to hang the stocking by. And you can just take a 9-inch by 2-inch strip, fold it in half, and fold the raw edge into the half like this. And just do a top stitch along the edge of that right here. And that'll make a little tab that you can stick here, attaching it to the inside of your stocking so it hangs real nice. So that makes a super cute stocking that you can use for holidays. You can either use it for a gift bag or as a traditional stocking. I enjoy putting small gifts inside and giving it to someone to open periodically, somewhat like an advent calendar, or how about just filling it with a food item or kind of like a gift basket. So there's lots of fun things that you can do with the stockings. So I hope you have fun making stockings this Christmas season.